Let's dive into some sight reading secrets that can help you level up your skills today. Sight reading is so essential if you want to be able to play the piano beautifully. And in the beginning stages of learning, sight reading is often about just getting the right notes and getting the right rhythm. But as your level evolves, the skills required to sight read successfully also need to evolve. And it's at this point that adult piano players often get stuck. Now, the last two secrets are things that I've never shared on the channel, so you're going to want to make sure that you stick around until the end of the video. So the first secret to level up your sight reading skills is to go slow. And I say this in a lot of my videos. If you've been around for a while, then you've heard me say this over and over again. But it never hurts to hear a reminder because the only way too fast is slow. I used to have a teacher that said that all of the time. And when I was in college, it would bug me, but she was so right. And now I find myself saying it all the time. If you want to be able to do something quickly, you need to focus on going slow and doing it accurately. And if you make going slow and doing it accurately the focus, speed will be the natural byproduct. If you have not experienced this yet, trust me, I promise you, I've been at this for a very long time. And if you focus on going slow and doing things accurately, speed will come. The second secret to level up your sight reading skills is to use the process. And I have an entire other tutorial where I talk about the process and I go really into detail about what it is and how to use it. And I'll link that in the description below. But essentially, if you follow the process when you're going to sight read a piece, it's going to help you break things down. It helps you work on your detective skills, where you get to dive deep into the music and explore what's going on the page before you actually put your hands on the keys. And when you take the time to be thoughtful and to look at everything on the page before you start to play, your success rate is going to skyrocket. Your accuracy is going to be so much better, and therefore your sight reading skills improve a lot faster. The third secret is to make sight reading a part of your daily practice, maybe a part of your weekly practice or your every other week practice. Just make sure that you're addressing it regularly. Because as it goes with so many things in music, if we address it as a regular part of our practice, the skills will improve. Whereas if it's something that you're really haphazardly working on sporadically, you're not going to be able to see that steady progress. It doesn't have to be a big chunk of your practice time. And in fact, I would actually recommend that you only spend a little bit of time on sight reading each day. About 5 minutes would be the perfect chunk of time. And if you familiarize yourself with the process, that will make it really easy to have a concrete idea of what you're going to do during that sight reading time. Now, this leads me to my fourth secret, which is that in order to incorporate sight reading into your regular practice routine, it's going to be a lot easier if you have the proper books. There are two series that I really love for sight reading. And one of them is by Helen Marlais, and I'll link to those in the description below. It actually goes through 8 levels, and I have an entire video where I kind of break down each level and what the levels look like to help you get a sense of what level you would start at. So I'll link that video in the description as well. But I love the Helen Marlais sight reading books because it's a book that's designed to have you practice sight reading every single day. And so she actually breaks each book up into daily chunks that shouldn't take you more than about 5 minutes. And so if you want a very clear way to incorporate sight reading into your daily routine, I would highly suggest you grab a Helen Marlais book at your level and get started. There's also a series by Snell, and I'll link the video that I did on that series in the description below. And that one is a little more advanced. It's a little bit more free-for-all in that he doesn't really give you as much direction on the sight reading or the development of the sight reading skills. And it's just musical examples. If you want more structure, go with Helen Marlais. If you already are really confident in your sight reading skills and you just want to start incorporating it into your practice, then I would go with the Snell. If you're new around here, welcome. It is so great to have you. And those of you that have been around for a long time, welcome back. Thank you so much for the comments on the videos. I love hearing if these videos are helping you. And if you are getting value from these videos, go ahead and give it a like and share it on social media. It really helps me out, and it also helps other piano players just like yourself. Now, the fifth secret to level up your sight reading skills is to support your sight reading skills by practicing something outside of your practice time. So when you're actually away from the piano, you can buy a set of flashcards, or you can download a note naming or a rhythm app, and you can work on those note naming skills, those rhythm skills away from the piano. You can do it during the commercials when you're watching TV or when you're waiting at the doctor's office. And if you feel like you're beyond that level of practicing flashcards or of practicing with an app for note names or rhythm, then I would say even just listening to music while you watch the score is a really great way to train the other parts of your musical mind and develop skills that will support you in sight reading. The sixth and final tip is to make sight reading fun. And you can do this in a lot of different ways, but one of my favorite ways to make sight reading more fun is to use a book of songs that you really like. If you want to incorporate incorporate sight reading into your daily practice, but you don't want to do it with one of the books I mentioned earlier, then I would say grab a really simple book of like pop music, or a simple book of themes from movies, or simplified classical themes, or something like that, where you have a book that you look forward to going to every single day to practice your sight reading. The only caveat with this secret is that you're going to want to make sure that the book is far below your level, because when we're practicing sight reading skills, it's really important that each day you have a small chunk of something that you can have success with. So if you're working on intermediate or advanced repertoire, your sight reading practice is not going to be at that same level. It's going to be at like an elementary or a beginner level. Don't forget to watch that tutorial about the process so that you know exactly how to sight read so that you can have success every time, and you can do that right here.